What's up everybody, hope all is well. Today I'm out shooting with the Panasonic GH6, and since they released the latest firmware, the 2.0 firmware, there is a feature that I really had been looking forward to using, and that's the RAW recording. Now with the 2.0 firmware, they also let you record in different flavors in ProRes. Now from the beginning you could only shoot in like the highest end of ProRes, but now you can actually shoot in 4K and also in 1080p in ProRes. I know that a lot of people like to shoot in 1080p as well, but mainly for me it's the RAW update. So now here we are in the Castle Gardens in Malmö, Sweden, and as you can see I have a lot of different flowers here, and that's probably the best thing you can shoot because we're actually looking at colors here. A lot of people have this expectation that when you're shooting RAW you also could get a little bit of better dynamic range. That could be the case in some ways where you actually get a little bit more highlight attention, but for me it's the workflow when it comes to manipulating color in post. Now one of the downsides is of course gonna be the huge file sizes that you get with ProRes RAW, but if you have those projects where you really need the adjustability of the color, then you should go with ProRes RAW, especially if you do have the Panasonic GH6. So for me this is the first time I'm shooting RAW on the Panasonic GH6, so I'm really looking forward to it. So to be able to shoot RAW on the Panasonic GH6 you will need Atomos Ninja. I have the Ninja V, but you could also use the Ninja V Plus. That however is much more expensive, and one thing to think about is to use proper SSDs. Now here I do have the Atom X from Angelbird. They work perfectly with the Atomos Ninja. But yeah, that's what you basically need to shoot RAW on the Panasonic G86. And to me it's actually a no-brainer to get this because you do open up such great capabilities of this camera. So yeah, if you do have the Panasonic G86 and you want to be able to shoot RAW, you need of course an HDMI cable, you need an Atomos Ninja V at least, and the SSD. So the experience shooting on the Panasonic GH6 with the Ninja is actually very nice. The only thing I would say is that you can actually feel that the Ninja has been out for a while because of the screen. Now 1000 nits is actually quite okay. You can see what you're recording, but there are so many monitors right now that go up to 2500, some go up to 3000. I'm making reviews very soon on a 2300 nit screen, and the difference is so big, especially on a day like this where the sun is very strong and you really need to check focus. However, I'm using the beautiful EVF on the Panasonic GH6, so it's not a big deal for me, but I would of course prefer, if I have a screen like this, I would prefer it to be a little bit brighter than the 1000 nits that it is. Also, if you're wondering what lenses I'm using to shoot this test on, this is the 200 f2.8 millimeters from Panasonic and Leica, and also the 25 to 50 millimeter f1.7 also from Panasonic and Leica, and also I have the 10 to 25. So I'm really using the premium lenses for the Panasonic GH6. So one other thing to think about when you're shooting in RAW is that you a lot of the time get a little bit more noise in the RAW files. That's because you don't have any noise reduction built in to the actual file, and that's a good thing because then you can go into your NLE and decide how much noise reduction you want on your footage. So that's actually a good thing. Let's see here. So here's actually a pro tip. The SSDs can actually be quite expensive to get. Here I have a 1 terabyte one from Angelbird, and here actually I have a cartridge also from Angelbird. So if you do have a lot of CFast cards, if you also have something like a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, or anything like that, and you do have a lot of CFast cards laying around, you can actually get this adapter or cartridge or whatever you want to use, and you can use it with the Ninja instead of the normal SSD. So that's actually a good thing. if you have a lot of these laying around. So if you actually can see that there's something wrong with the motion blur coming out from the Panasonic GH6 and while I'm recording the RAW, that's because I didn't want to use an ND filter while doing this, just because I didn't want any type of color to be input to the file that wasn't there from the camera and from the lens. So no ND filters, and that's why the motion blur isn't perfect right now. So one of the tests that I would like to do here is to actually go and see how big is the difference between the ProRes RAW and the normal ProRes, and if I can spot any difference. Now on some cameras I've seen on YouTube that there might be some changes in the highlight roll-off, so that could give you like a half a stop or a third of a stop more of dynamic range, but for me it's actually not viable to shoot and get those big files if I'm just looking for that 1/3 more stop of dynamic range, because I could actually expose to my liking, so that wouldn't be the biggest difference. However, if I'm looking to get really great color and be able to change the colors in post, then the hassle to get the Atomos Ninja with the SSDs and everything would be worth it. Now, one of my upcoming videos is also going to be a video where I compare the raw footage from the Panasonic GH6 to the raw footage on the A7S III, just to see how big is the difference, because I've never actually shot raw on the Sony A7S III, and I would like to see which of these cameras is better when it comes to shooting raw. So that's one of the videos that's coming out real soon. So guys, if you like this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel. There are a lot of videos coming out the following months as always, and if you have any questions, as always, write them in the comments. See you soon and see you in the next video. Bye bye.